Hi, welcome to, let me get back here. Hi, there we go. Welcome to exporting your file. Um, Adobe Premiere has really one good way to export your file. And it has hooks into another program called Adobe Media Encoder. So Adobe Media Encoder, I'll call that up now. Yeah, here it is attached to every Adobe product. So if you're working in Illustrator and Photoshop and After Effects and stuff, and you want to have a single sort of preset export thing that you want to use, then uh, it is faster to use Media Encoder to create an export preset and export everything that way. You can also make adjustments. Each of these things has uh, tons of variables, and you can pick resolutions and things. Um, it's a big, huge, obtuse program that I don't often use. I very rarely use Media Encoder. But if you're working that way, where you want everything to be the same and you're tired of setting 10 settings every time you export, then it's a good thing to learn. For our purposes in this class, it's a little heavy for what we want to do, um, but it has a lot of good good aspects to it if you need them. Um, Here's our breaker footage here. Um, if I were to move forward with this, there's our resolution. So now I made sure that the resolution is there, and you can see it popped up with there's one I had before. This is the new one, and it popped up saying this is where it's going to put it. Um, you can change that file like that. Press this button, and it'll start doing it. So this resolution is slightly not 1920 by 1080. So now it will be. It was because I didn't want to record the sides of my computer. It's a little smaller. So it just went through and did it. Great. And you saw it kind of working here. And now we're all good to go and just close it. The other way to do this, oh, and I'm sorry, you access this by going export, and then you can choose send to Adobe Media Encoder, and it pops up. You can download this on Creative Cloud, and there you go. You can also just hit export media, and this is Premiere's version of Media Encoder, the in-house exporter. And it has a lot of stuff here. It has all these presets for Vimeo, TikTok, and Facebook, and all these social media formats that you could use. Um, it has a tons of presets, um, which is good. Um, Again, we can choose uh, our screen size. I'll just leave it on custom there. It's set because my custom setting is set to that. The video is actually 1920 by 1080, so I don't have to fix it. Oh, I recorded it small and then edited it big. Gotcha. My bad. So there are certain things you can do here. If you go into, um, can add metadata, which encrypts, embeds whatever you want into the video. So if somebody else uses it, you can identify it. You can do that, add captions to it. You can adjust your audio overall. So this will adjust the audio of the whole piece. You can change the whole size of the video, or the frame rate, or the aspect ratio. It's all post-processing stuff. I guess the effects is I've used a couple times. And most of the time I just hit export and then I get a video. I way prefer, if I'm going to do stuff to my video, to actually do stuff in the editor here so that it's on the screen when I'm done with it. You have more control. If you're going to adjust your video overall, you have more control of adjusting it uh, within each shot. The problem is that if you have like an entire movie, so hundreds of shots together, and you need to, and the director says, "Oh, I wish this was a little more orange," and so you have to add color to every single frame and make it a little more orange. Then it's faster to use Media Encoder or just to export it with a post-processing effect. Um, so that's here, that's tone mapping, and you can choose your hue, or adjust color by channel, or hue, just up the exposure, take down the exposure. I'm not really seeing what it's doing here. Um, and then I'm going to hit done there. Unclick that. You can also do image overlay, like if you want to have a watermark. This is sometimes helpful. If you're working and somebody says, hey, you can't show that unless it's watermarked. This is a good way of doing that, although you can do this in the editor as well. So what am I looking for? Desktop. And then somewhere in here. Desktop, there we go. Sean's watermark. And then you can see my name is pretty light. And you can, oh, I have the opacity turned way down. Yeah. There's full opacity. Um, and just so you know, here is the image that I use. So you can see it's already kind of transparent. I used I created a PNG in Photoshop with this, with a transparent background so that it overlays. If you did a JPEG, then you could just turn down the opacity on it. And then you have it watermarked, and you can see that that continues out throughout the whole piece. And you can align it however you want. So many weird options. All right, get rid of that. You can also have time code overlaid on it. You can also, text, you can add text to it. So right now it's giving me output file name. There's the source file name. You can also add text to it. Like that. So many wonderful things. Anyways, that's post-processing and effects. Most of the time, you would render out instead of doing it in the rendering thing here. For what we do, our little tiny screens, we're not doing a whole bunch of footage at the same time, which is what this is really meant for. You would just even if you wanted to change your whole scene, you would just render it out as a MP4 and then call this all up in Premiere again and then make your changes there because you have a lot more control over things and you have a lot more options to alter your image in Premiere. Or if you really need to alter it, you can go to After Effects and run all sorts of effects on your footage. That's what it's meant for. All right, that is post-processing and exporting your file. Oh, I suppose I should uh, back to export. Most common export is MP4. There's MP4, this here, H.264, whatever your resolution is, there's where the file goes. Just click on that. You can pick a spot. Here's all my assignments that I've exported. You can name it here. Every time you save, I recommend upversioning it. It'll put the MP4 back in. And then you just hit export, and off it goes. It's pretty much the same in all Adobe products. Export media just exactly the same as that, except for After Effects, in which case you have to add it to a render queue and then render it out. But most of the other ones are just like this. All right, there you go. I almost forgot the most simple part.